Guys, we're back for another exciting episode of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play, and I'm really excited for tonight because tonight's guest is somebody that I've known online and on Twitter for a long, long time, and we about had it out this morning on Twitter speaking about hashtag mini dunes, but I'm going to let that slide because the list that Matt Janella posted of short courses was pretty good. So I think that the B list needs to have hashtag mini dunes at the top, but that's beside the point. And tonight we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but I am a beer guy, right? Everybody knows that I like to drink beer, but tonight I poured a glass of wine because I'm so excited to have tonight's guest on. It's been a long time coming, and I'm excited to learn more about what he does with Golf Advisor. We were just rapping a little bit about fam trips. We have a fam trip coming up to Tiburon next week. He's got a couple of his writers that are going to be in town for that. And this guy is all over the place on Twitter, and one of the things that I'm going to ask about is his Twitter header picture, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And it's because he doesn't have a glove on, and I don't answer this right now. But before anything, just Brandon Tucker's with us from Golf Advisor. Like I said, I've known this guy for a long time, and I'm not even going to pretend to talk about what he does and the amount of courses that this guy has played over the years. So, Brandon, first off, welcome to the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play presented by Eat Sleep Golf. Tell us who you are, what you do, what your role is at Golf Advisor, and just give us an overview of what that looks like.
Thanks, Ricky. I'm glad to be here. I'm the managing editor for golfadvisor.com, which is part of Golf Channel. I was the editor when it launched back in 2014. And it's a great site. It's got editorial for me and my guys, expert opinion. We've got the ratings and reviews from really anybody. So it's really a mix. It gets kind of lumped in with TripAdvisor sometimes and Yelp and those kind of consumer reviews. And that's definitely a big part of what we do. But I'm really proud of the editorial that my team and I do, and that we can kind of provide both perspectives, from the kind of the daily fee guy, and then, people like myself and my team who we've traveled probably more than we deserve. we played a lot of good stuff all over the world, and so maybe our viewpoint is a little more in depth than some of the reviews on the site. But it's been fun to watch the site grow, and I'm glad that y'all have been participating in it as well.
So you mentioned Yelp and TripAdvisor and even Google. I'm obsessed with Google reviews, mostly because there's a ranking solution to that, and you get different levels and you get access to this, that, and the other by leaving reviews. And I love leaving reviews, but I have to spread myself very thin because it's like I can't just go to like a bar or a brewery or a golf course or whatever and leave a review on 7 different places. So as Golf Advisor, do you find a Yelp and a TripAdvisor as competition, or do you have such a niche market of people that are leaving reviews that it's just golfers leaving reviews for golfers?
I look at Yelp and I look at Google and I look at what these other sites are doing, and I just think that we're asking different questions. We have subcategory ratings. I look at the Grint, for example. They have tons of reviews coming in, but people, it's more of a mobile app. And you don't get a lot of people really writing stuff along with those reviews. I think they might have had more reviews last year than we did, which is rare. But we're just getting a lot. I just think the dynamic's a little different. I think with Yelp and Google, you're not necessarily sure how much golf these guys play, because you click on their profile and it's like you said, it's a restaurant review, it's an auto mechanic review, and so I think you're going to get a little bit more serious people on Golf Advisor.
And I get that, because especially from where I'm at Tiburon, we'll get people that'll have a bad experience, and that doesn't happen very often. But when it does, we want those reviews because we want to be able to learn from those reviews. We had a golfer a couple of weeks ago that had a bad experience, left our email address and phone number, contacted with her, and we ended up making it right. And had we have not had the ability to see that review, we could never have known that. So that being said, do facilities get the ability to see the reviews, respond to the reviews, and be a part of that on Golf Advisor? And do you see a lot of success stories where that happens?
Right now, you can comment on a review. You can't really email directly with the person without it kind of showing up on the site. That's something that we've talked about, and I think it could be useful. But right now, we want the dialogue to happen on the site.
So the team at Eat Sleep Golf always sends in a whole bunch of good questions. They have about 10 tonight, and I've got about 15. So we're not going to be able to get through them all, but we're going to try. And one of the questions that they had was, are there benefits or incentives for golfers to be more active on Golf Advisor? And that's a good time for that question to happen, because I do on Untapped, which is an app that allows you to track your beers. Again, I'm a big beer guy. And just this morning, a email from the co-founder showed up and said, hey, would you find interest and incentives for being a super user and doing things to help enhance the data on the app? So that being said, as a user, are there incentives for leaving reviews, or is it just feel good about leaving reviews?
This is something I think about almost on a daily basis, because without a community, we're nothing. And golfers to be leaving reviews and to get something out of it. There have been sites that I've left one review and never gone back to because I don't really understand why I'm leaving a review there. I will say that right now we have the local golf advisor program, which we've been rolling out over the last year. And so what we're doing there is we're looking for active, not just active golfers and reviewers, but people who we know are fair and they're giving some good insider information. And I guess it could be maybe tied into Yelp Elite a little bit, but that's our first step. And I think we've got a lot of stuff that we're talking about in our internal meetings too about incentivizing people. And when you write a review, you want to know that it's being read by the facility. And so I love when Tiburon and other courses are applying to those people. That's everything. Like you want to know that you're being seen. That there's another site out there where it'll tell you how many page views your review's gotten. Like incentive, like what is incentive when you're a reviewer? You don't want to get like paid, or you don't necessarily need like $10 off or any of that. An incentive can be a lot of different things. It can be as easy as knowing that you help somebody and someone telling you thank you. I mean, that can be an incentive, right?
Bingo. And with the Untapped specifically, one of the things, and it gave us like 3 or 4 things that would be considered an incentive. And one of them was 10% off merchandise in the Untapped store, or Untapped super user only access to merchandise. And I'm like, yeah, that would be really cool, because one, I like to talk about being a super user, and it's somebody that it's a little different than a review, but in the same vein. But at the same time, that if I'm leaving a Google review and I get to a certain level, and they do that, so I get to 400 reviews, they assume that the 400 reviews are active and relevant, and then I get extra storage on Google Drive. Cool. That's an incentive. It doesn't cost them anything necessarily. It gives me a benefit. Now I have pretty much unlimited access to Google Drive to upload pictures and what have you. So it's incentivizing me to use their solution more by giving it to me on a different platform that's still within Google. So
yeah, I was really interested in what Google was doing there. I've got a little background with Google in that I used to work on the Zagat book, and then Google bought Zagat. And I've been kind of watching how they've been trying to incorporate Zagat a little bit. And yeah, you're right. When they came out with the free Google Drive storage, I mean, it definitely got my wheels spinning on, how does that translate to golf? I think it's a work in progress. But what I will say is that our local golf advisor program, they've kind of been the people that we've been seeking out. And I would encourage anyone, if you have a golf advisor account, if you're reviewing a lot and you're uploading photos with your reviews and it's useful stuff, you're going to get noticed and you'll be tagged. And with that badge of being a local golf advisor, not only are we going to promote you on social media and things like that, but we are going to be sending you some swag and things like that, and tea time specials. And so that's just the tip of the iceberg, though. I mean, it's like I said, we started in 2014. We're in 2017 now, and I feel like we're just scratching the surface of the site, and I'm really excited about it. And what's great is every year the site grows. Just the whole company. I like to think of ourselves as a little startup, within a Tea Times company that's Golf Now, within a media company that's Golf Channel, within NBC Universal, within Comcast, and every year we get a little bigger and we get noticed by more people, and the resources start to grow, and it's exciting to be a part of, when every month the traffic goes up a little bit and everyone's happy. But we also know that we've got a long way to go.
If you told me that you started in 2014, I would laugh and say, yeah, you mean 2004? Like, there's no way it started in 14. And I know that it did, but you guys have done a fantastic job with it, and it's and I say this in the absolute best way possible. It is shoved down my throat as a golf fan, because it is commercials and it's all over the place, and that's not a bad thing. And I think, to that very point, all of those companies and those brands that you just mentioned, because of that, allows you the ability to shove it down golfers' throats. And that's not a bad thing, because it only helps us to look at the reviews, to read the reviews, whether we leave the reviews that are being left about the course that I'm looking to play may affect where I'm going to play. And on the reverse side of that, the facility needs to see that. They need to be aware of that. Can we fix something that happened in the past? No, but can we make it right in the future? Absolutely, as a facility.
Sure.
Now, there has to be somebody that's just like top of the pile. Is there one or two guys that are just leaving a review every course they play that you just are absolutely aware of? Are there a couple of shining stars?
Yeah, there's a guy on Twitter. There's a few guys on Twitter. One guy's Zach Buchner. He's our Atlanta advisor. He's on the Golf Channel AM Tour. He is playing everywhere. It's people are always like, Brandon, I want your job. And Zach's one of these guys. I'm like, dude, you're playing more than I am these days. Come on, every time I look in your Twitter, you're playing somewhere awesome. You don't want my job. I want your job.
That's awesome.
But yeah, him. There's a guy named Boston Golf Travelers on Twitter. There's a guy, Ken Cal Hack. I think he's out in LA area. There are guys with a couple hundred reviews out there. And the thing is we encourage people to review courses more than once. Like if it's your home muni, if it's your home course, 6 months is an eternity. You've got all kinds of different weather and conditions, and you're on the management side, Ricky. The management could do so much in 6 months that the experience can totally change in 6 months. And so we want people to review the course really whenever they play it. Maybe not every day, but at least every few weeks or a couple months. What I do, as a user of the site that I also manage, is I subscribe to the courses I play the most in Austin. So I get an email anytime someone leaves a review at that course, and if it tells me the conditions are bad, then when my buddies want to go play golf, I say, no, we don't want to go there. A week ago, they said the greens are bad. Let's go here. And that's what I want people to do on the site is, even if you played it a month ago, if something's changed, leave a review, and it helps us out big time.
See, that is exactly why facilities need to pay attention to it. For that very reason.
Sure.
So you've played a lot of golf courses all over the world. Talk about some of the most unique courses that you've played.
Oh man. It's tough to not start at North Berwick in Scotland. I don't know if you played in Scotland before, but there was a time where I thought that the old course was my favorite course over there. But my memories of North Berwick, it just you're hitting over stone walls. Some of the greens are incredible. Everyone talks about the Redan green. Like if you're a golfer, you know about Redan, which was founded, which really started in North Berwick. I tell people that's like the 7th or 8th most interesting hole. There's like every hole is just crazy. It's a course that I always tell people, it used to be 40th birthday I'm going to Scotland, but now that I got a baby, that may or may not happen. So maybe it's the 50th birthday. But when I do the buddies trip to Scotland, North Berwick I will make sure that's on the itinerary. I love that one. But every course has something unique to it. At least that's my job, is to more or less find out what that is. And some courses are tougher to do than others, but
okay.
The Scotland courses, if I wish every real estate developer who wanted to build a golf course in the 80s, I wish they would have gone to Scotland for like a month and like played some cool stuff before, routing a hole with homes on on top of the fairway, and hiring a designer who's maybe the cheapest and it'll get it done but not interesting. And we're in Florida, and there's a lot of those courses that were built like that in Florida, where you just wish that they were built more fun. I hope some of them can be saved, because there's so much good architecture being built now. That I like to think that those 80s and 90s golf courses that maybe weren't done so well, as they get looked at again in the next 10-15 years, when they need a refresh, they'll be built in a little more fun, just a little more creative, kind of get out there with it, get weird. I mean, it's great to have a hole or two that's just nuts. I mean, at North Berwick, you're hitting over a stone wall. There's some greens, like there's a green, I think it's 16. That's insane. It's just an insane green. There's no other way around it. But I mean, come on, a golf course can have one insane green. I mean, it's not going to ruin your day. So I don't know. I hope that
I love
answers your
that.
question.
Okay, so out of all the courses that you have played, what are a couple that you haven't that are atop your bucket list? And if you want to mention Troon courses, by all means.
Troon course. I don't think it's a Troon course. You know, people always ask me, "Have you played Pebble Beach?" And I tell people, "No." You know, I'm in my 30s. I'm kind of, you know, my grandpa played Pebble in his 60s, and it was a big deal to him. And I like to think that maybe I can have the patience to kind of let that come. I'm trying to think of a Troon course I haven't played. I might have to look at the website.
Lofoten Links in Norway should be on your list if you haven't been up there. That's
In Norway.
Yeah, it's like, so we were talking about going this year just so I could play there. Like, spend
Okay.
3 days there just so I could go play there. Like, it's silly cool looking. It's on an archipelago, and you can see the northern lights half the year, and then you can play 24 hours a day the other half of the year, and it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I never played golf in Scandinavia. Sounds expensive.
Yes, it's expensive to get there. That's why I said we might be going. I don't think we're going now. So
Yeah.
does Golf Advisor employ a team of reviewers, or is it just all open to the general public to leave the reviews based on?
Anybody can leave a review. You know, that's the beauty of it. You know, really the editorial staff is just me, Mike Bailey, and Jason Deegan right now. You know, we've got some freelance here and there, and we've got some people behind the scenes and all that. But really, I mean, if you play golf, you got an opinion about it. We want to hear what you have to say. You know, it's just a totally different perspective. Like we did our best of lists in January, and they don't look anything like Golf Digest and golf. And that's exactly the point. You know, if there's anything I've learned, you know, reading Golf Advisor reviews, and I will every day. I'll go into the workbench and just, if I need 5 minutes to kind of reset, I'll just kind of browse reviews. And you know, sometimes when you're in the golf business and you're really into design, and you know, you've traveled around and you've been to Scotland and you've been to some of these great top 100 golf courses, you know, your perspective shifts from maybe what the core golfer wants. The core golfer who's, you know, playing all the time, they don't necessarily need like the most excellent designed golf course of all time. They want, you know, good value, good pace of play, and they want the beverage cart girl to come around. You know? And that's what our reviewers tell us. I mean, you can. There's a lot of golf courses out there that I would say are not architecturally excellent. They're okay. I mean, they're professionally done. But when the management of the course is on point, and this is where you come in and where Troon comes in. Like, you know, Troon, they get the most out of their facilities in most cases, and when you can really take your facility, whether it's designed by Core Crenshaw or some local guy, you know, you as a manager of the course, you can get the best out of it, and golfers are going to notice, even if it's not this, you know, top 100 design. And I think that, you know, that's the perspective that's kind of emerged from Golf Advisors, that you look at our best of lists, and they don't have. There's a lot of golf courses in our best of lists that would never be eligible, or not even, they wouldn't even be played by raters because they're not architecturally significant enough. Those courses have a chance with Golf Advisor. You know, if the conditions are good, pace is good, beverage cart girls coming around, like that's half the battle right there, and you're going to have some happy golfers.
Well, and the lists that you're mentioning are usually the first like 20 you can't even get on, and if you can, they're outrageously expensive. And by the time you get to the courses that you can play, you're at like 63, and it's like Yochadihi in California. Rusty Seymour is the GM out there, and he has done a fantastic job with that property, and that is at the top of every list I've seen it on Golf Advisor.
Yeah,
and just, I mean, the property looks amazing, right? Have you been out there? Have you played there?
No, Jason Deegan has, and had very good things to say about it. It was our #1 course in 2015, and so we were talking about it a fair amount. And my guy's out in California, so he's hogging most of the California rounds these days. But I'll have to call rank on him eventually.
Yeah, do that. Now, Golf Advisor is a part of the Golf Channel Network. What does that mean for Golf Advisor? How are you guys working together? I mean, obviously the commercials and the access to that, and you know, even Golf Now and Golf Channel Amateur Tour, et cetera. Like, how are those all working together to benefit one another?
Sure, it's good question. I would say that, obviously you see the commercials on Golf Channel. We've got Matt Janella, who's the travel expert, and so he's able to provide his perspective. He's obviously been a lot of places, and he's kind of our on-air guy. A lot of people, tweet him way more than any of us because, given his profile and his knowledge. So there's that component. Our marketing team is part of the Golf Channel side, and then obviously the Golf Now side is great because that's where the golfer is. That's where your golf junkie is Golf Now, and we're able to do a lot of things with those golfers. We're able to market to them big time. We can send a Golf Now golfer emails asking them how their last round went. And we can get a review out of that. So, I think that kind of gave us a leg up in that Golf Advisor started in February of 2014, but we started getting ratings and reviews out of Golf Now at the end of 2012. And shortly after the reviews started coming in, we were realizing, holy smokes, like people are actually reviewing a lot of golf courses here. And so the idea came out of Golf Now to just build a separate brand, which I was really excited about because at the time I was the golfchannel.com travel editor. But if you go to golfchannel.com, you're not really going there for travel content. You're going there for your boy Tiger and all this. And so the kind of light went off in everyone's head. Like, we can move the travel content to Golf Advisor. We can move the reviews from Golf Now to Golf Advisor. And then we can kind of encourage reviews everywhere, whether it's Golf Now or not. And it's really just, the whole company has really gotten behind it. And it's, like I said, it's, each month as we see growth, more people want to get on board, and it's been a fun ride to be a part of.
That's really cool. So you've traveled all over the place. I mean, tons of countries, tons of states. Has an airline ever lost or broken your clubs? And I asked that I don't want to hear it if it's happened, but have they?
They haven't lost them. I mean, they haven't showed up on time. Yeah, I will. The one tip I've realized over the years is that when you have the connection, and then, it's a lot of our favorite destinations, it's a small plane to get to that destination, like Bend or Branson. For whatever reason, sometimes the golf clubs, like, they somehow like make or break the weight of the airplane. Like, I can never figure this out, but this has happened many times to Biloxi, to Branson, to Bend, where they say, oh, sorry, your clubs didn't make it on this flight. They'll be on the one in the morning because of the weight. I'm like, 40 pounds? Come on. And so that's, I've had clubs show up late. Ask my boy Jason Deegan. He's got an awful story. You'll have to get him on about Scotland. Someone running off with his clubs from the carousel. That's a good one.
That alone, Scott, if you're watching, let's get him on the show next. That would be. Now, I've really enjoyed this conversation, and we're getting close to the end. But I just found out that you're an IU grad, and I'm a Purdue grad. So boiler up. What's that like being an IU grad? Like, I mean. Did you tell them that when you were getting in your interview?
I didn't turn out awful. I mean,
I can't tear it too much. So I went to Marion College, which is now Marion University, for a couple of years, and I've spent there's some really good golf courses in Bloomington too. So I'm just giving you a hard time because I'm a boiler. But my significant other over there, she has 1 degree from IU and 1 degree from Purdue. So she's a split household in of herself. So
yeah, it's Midwest, it's Big Ten country. I can't hate,
Yeah. Did you play golf there too, or no?
Midwest so long, I don't have that animosity. I'm down in Austin. We just want good food and good weather.
And good music. You got some good music in Austin too. Did you play golf at IU or no?
Oh, I played club hockey, actually.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I played maybe 4 rounds of golf all through college, and then my game's never been the same. I wasn't bad in high school. I was on the high school team and all that, and then you go to college, and suddenly, like, $8 for the college green fee. You're like, how can anyone afford this game?
That's awesome. So let's go back to that Twitter picture that you have. You're not wearing a glove in that picture, and I have to know: do you not wear a glove like Freddie Couples, or were you just posing for that picture? Because that's a cool picture, like hitting the shot, the dog's right there by your clubs.
Yeah, the Austin Munis allow dogs. I love it. The glove question: I wear a glove except for wedge play and in. So maybe once I'm starting to get kind of finesse with the wedge, it comes off.
Okay, I dig that. There's a lot of talk right now about the rules changing. There's about 10 different rules that are talking about changing. Most of them, most guys that are watching aren't even going to know about or even play by anyway. But out of all of the rules of the game of golf, what is the one rule you would change and why?
Stroke and distance, because when that rule was founded, we didn't have the real estate development putting houses on both sides of the fairway. Like OB was never supposed to be on both sides of the hole.
Okay. I'll take that. I'm the guy that says, yeah, I think I went out here and dropped a ball and I had a stroke. So
yeah, I mean, come on, it's common sense.
So the guys at Eat Sleep Golf, they're north of the border, so there has to be a Canadian question thrown in every week, it seems, and that's okay. So is there a best of list for Canada, regionally or nationally?
Yeah, well, it'll be out very soon. We do it last. We kind of work up the climate. So we're finishing up our northern states this week, and then Canada, and I believe we're doing it in Ontario too.
Very cool.
I just want to plug for Canada. Jasper Park Lodge may be my favorite golf course anywhere. So Jasper Park Lodge.
I've never heard of that, so now I want to go.
It's just north of Banff. I like it more than Banff, though.
Okay. So beyond the review section of Golf Advisor, there's a stay and play section and a destination section. In your opinion, what are a couple of the top destinations for both U.S. and international play? When guys are planning a trip, where are they going?
Man, I love Scottsdale. I mean, I had my bachelor party in Scottsdale.
Nice.
Bandon Dunes, can't beat that. Scotland. Like I just said, Jasper Park in Alberta, the Canadian Rockies. You can do this great little tour up in the Canadian Rockies. Prince Edward Island. I know your boy's biased on this one, but Prince Edward Island, I tell people, it's good value. I mean, the flight might be expensive, so save your miles for it. But when you get there might not be a more just overall pleasant place to be in the north than Prince Edward Island. This is one of those destinations where Cabot is going to steal all the attention out there, and there's probably not really a solid top 100 course on Prince Edward Island. But we're just talking about like an overall, like from waking up in the morning to going to bed at night, just everyone's lovely, all the scenery is lovely. It's the pace is exactly what you want on a vacation. So there's your plug for Prince Edward Island.
I love that. Now my wine glass is almost empty. I got a couple of questions before we jump into the back nine. But tell me a little bit more about Austin Country Club. You play a lot of golf there. Are you a member there?
Hell no.
Now wait a minute. You could go through your Instagram and tell me you're not a member there. Like you make it look like you play there quite a bit.
There's one photo from Austin Country. So you might be confusing it with Lions Municipal Golf Course, which is on the other side of the river. I played Austin Country Club on Monday. I think it's $100,000 to get in. So I don't have that money.
So I don't have that.
Dude, I'm a Muni guy, man. I'm telling you. I grew up on a Muni. It was 5,000 yards. I play the Munis in Austin. I'm hoping to, talk the wife into a membership for the family eventually, and do all that. I'm really excited to try and get my whole family into golf as they grow up. But Muni golf, man, Austin Country Club. I would love to be a member at Austin Country Club, but man,
maybe they're watching. Maybe they got an honorary membership they're going to send you.
I got to do a lot more than that. I got to do a lot more than talking about golf courses and Golf Advisor to get an honorary membership.
So one more question before we jump into the back nine, and this is another good one from Eat Sleep Golf. They talk about the list, the best of list. So such as the best of 50 in the U.S. Are those based strictly on reviews, or are there other factors that play into those lists?
That's all reviews. You have to have at least 15 this year from 2016. And so, there's a lot of good golf courses out there that maybe didn't have the review count to even qualify. But, we want this to be the people's list. Now, if I write a review of a golf course, it can be considered. Like I reviewed Harbor Town, but 20 other people also reviewed Harbor Town, and it showed up third. And I know Deegan, he reviewed Yochadihi the year it was number one, but there were like 50 reviews of Yochadihi. So, but it's all reviews.
That's really cool. Okay, good to know. So encourage players of Tiburon Golf Club to leave more reviews. I'll just go to membership and be like, membership, leave a review, and there's like 400 right there.
I want to point out, though, one of the things that we do with the list, though, is we're taking, like, if you rate all your golf courses 5 stars, your review isn't going to matter much. So, like, we want, like, we're weighting reviews based on how much of a curmudgeon you are. Like, for example, like you get the blow by 1-star reviews. Like if you're a guy who's written 3 1-star reviews, and this is there's a lot of people who only review 1-star golf courses. Like your review is not going to count, and if it's all 5 stars, it's not going to count either. We need a mix.
Mm-hmm. I dig that.
Yeah.
So that's it for your hashtag Wednesday match play. That half an hour flew by. But before we go, we have this thing called the back 9. It's just 9 fun random golf questions. Thank you first off for coming on the show. Really cool to hear more about Golf Advisor. I had a meeting last week with the guys from Golf Advisor, just learning more about it, and it still boggles my mind that it's so young of a company. But there's no question that what you and Mike and the team are doing from an editorial perspective is great, and I enjoy reading that stuff as much as the reviews.
Thank you.
And if you ever need somebody to fill in and write, maybe the best of Naples, I know a guy. So even though I haven't played a lot of courses down here yet, but I have no problem going out and playing more in an effort to provide that content for you. So are you ready for your back 9?
Yeah, let's do it.
What is the hardest golf course you've ever played?
Oh man, hardest. Whistling Straits kicked my ass. TPC Sawgrass, man, that one of those two. Pete Dye.
Yes, just Pete Dye. I like that. Now, you spoiled this question a little bit ago on Twitter, but what's your handicap? I'm going to pretend I didn't read that.
I'm an 11, but I should be an 8.
Okay, I like that. What golf ball is currently in your bag?
Whatever I find in the woods, man. I have the new ball phobia. Y'all have that?
That is, I have the used and or refurbished ball phobia. I will not buy a new dozen golf ball. There's no way. Because I'm going to lose like 4 of them when I play, so it doesn't matter. So when you play a course, do you leave reviews on Golf Advisor? What's your personal review process? Do you review them all? Do you review none?
Yeah. I played Shingle Creek today. I'm going to go review it. I review pretty much every time I play golf.
That's awesome. Good. That's cool. Let's order a drink. I think you're going to have a beer, but what are you having?
How about Bell's Oberon?
That's a classic right there.
Yeah.
So are you in Michigan right now then? Is that why? Are you in Michigan?
I'm from Michigan.
What is your favorite PGA Tour major?
Masters with the Open a quick sec. Open's close. It's fun, but Masters, man, that's just another level. Now, good segue. I feel like you read these questions. Do you think Tiger plays in the Masters this year?
Mm-hmm. He has the invite, and he's not said no. The invites are out, and he's not said no.
I think he shows up. I mean, he shows up,
right? Like he has to. Now, again, I let the IU thing pass, but based on how you answer this question, I don't know if we're going to be able to be friends. Do you think Tiger breaks the record? Why or why not?
I think my stock answer on this for a while was that he would kind of pull a Nicklaus and get like a late kind of backdoor Masters. I just don't see how he's competitive anymore. The health, man. Unless there's a doctor out there we don't know about who can get a hold of Tiger and make him real right real quick. I think the young kids are too good. I mean, the kids he inspired to be who they are. I mean, it's pretty wild to watch that basically his dominance and his phenomenon is basically going to be the undoing of his ability to catch Jack and health. I mean, I don't know. The health, the body, the body's going to win every time.
So I had Chip Essick on the show a few weeks ago, and I asked every single guest of both this show and when I did for 4 years prior, the Friday Foursome, I've asked the same question too. And Chip said if he wins one more major, he breaks the record, meaning that he'll get the fire underneath him. He'll figure out a way to get to the top, and so one more, and he breaks the record. And I like that because I think that it's either he's done and he needs to just fade off and be done, or he's working his way to having that. And I saw a stat the other day that blew my mind. That was talking about the number of wins before the age of 33, and Dustin was at 14, and then somebody else had like 16, and Tiger had like 65. Like, it was absurd how many more Tiger has than anybody else. But you're right, that Dustin is where he is because of Tiger doing what he did, and that's not solely because of that, but it is, to your point, it's very cool to see the guys that he inspired now taking the reins and running with it. So
yeah, there's too many of them. Maybe he could sneak into an Open too. You never know with conditions and setup, and you could be like 60 years old and win the Open, really.
So basically, without you saying it, he's going to break the record by 3. That's what I heard. I'm just kidding. And your final question of your hashtag Wednesday match play is, what's next? I mean, you're just getting started with Golf Advisor, but what's next for Brandon Tucker?
Man, what is next? So, man, it's been fun. I mean, I tell you, I work with the product guys and Golf Advisor all the time. I feel like we're at 10% of what we want to do with the website. I'd really love you to have me on 5 years from now and see where we're at, because there's a lot of hungry people behind the scenes on the site. Not just me and Jason and Mike. I mean, we're on Twitter and we're traveling around, we're meeting people, but we got some good talent in Orlando that I have a really good time working with, and they're intelligent people, and they make me look good a lot. So it's gonna keep growing. I think I'm really excited about that.
That's really cool. Well, Mike's going to be here next week for a fam trip at Tiburon, so I'll make sure that I tell him that you said hello, and you probably talk to him daily, but you might even see him before I do. But excited to see him. You convinced me to play a couple of rounds with those guys while they're here. So we got 6 riders coming down. Rob Myers from the corporate office, and if I'm not playing, maybe we should just fly you down and you can play. Like, I mean, I would allow that.
If you can convince my wife that I can come, I'm there.
Tell her to call me. I'll convince her.
Yeah.
But hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was fantastic. And let's just pretend that this is still going on 5 years from now. So if this is still happening 5 years from now, let's have you back on. And I want to get more guys from Golf Advisor. Let's get Mike on. Let's get some of these other guys that you're working with and that are working with you to come on the show and talk about their perspective and the courses they've played and so forth. I'd love to have them on the show and to be a bigger part of the Google Plus golf community. We hit 25,000 members last week, and to your point of we're just getting started and we're only doing 10%, that's kind of how I feel with the golf community. So I'm excited for the future. This is going to get shared to everywhere, Facebook, Google Plus. It goes on eatsleepgolf.com, all the places. Again, thank you for coming on the show. And as always, on the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, is you have to remember to eat, sleep, golf.